Afua, give us the idea around sort of like the general sentiment of the people you've spoken to today. I've seen you throughout the day with News Central Now speaking to Londoners, and they're sharing their thoughts. What's the general sentiment in terms of Donald Trump's return to the White House?
You know, it really is a mixed bag here in London. We are actually on College Green, just outside the Houses of Parliament, and Big Ben behind me. It's quite a scene, actually. And we're here because there's going to be a protest against Donald Trump's inauguration, which is kicking off within the next hour. And in amongst, you know, the people gathering for the protest, you have lots of tourists and people we've been speaking to throughout the day. It really is a mixed bag. I talked to someone earlier on from the Workers' Party of Britain who was very pleased that we have an incoming Trump presidency. And that's purely because mostly the Workers' Party of Britain, their mandate is about Palestine. They're a very pro-Palestine party. And of course, the ceasefire came into effect not 24 hours ago in Gaza, the 62-day, 6-week ceasefire. And they...
In America, a domestic affair. But Trump, being the showbiz man is, decided to invite a few people from the United Kingdom. Suella Braverman is there, Liz Truss, who had a little stint as Prime Minister, and of course Nigel Farage. But conspicuously missing is Sir Keir Starmer. You know the deep relationship the United Kingdom has with the USA. Is there any reason for this, and what are the general sentiments with regards to that? This big absentee, even though he's invited people from Hungary, Orban is invited, Modi, even the Trump of the tropics, former Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro.
I think the feeling is that Sir Keir Starmer especially has a lot on his plate at the moment, whether that is the economy, whether that is the scandal over the inquiry and the lack thereof of a grooming gangs up and down the United Kingdom. He has a lot to deal with, and his worst sort of year of his prime ministership perhaps hasn't been going as well as he would have liked. I think if he had decided to attend the inauguration, it would have been another black mark against him, and he doesn't need that at the moment. He very much needs to be focused on domestic affairs. And you're absolutely right in saying you have all these Trump supporters, Suella Braverman, Liz Truss, arriving in Washington, D.C. With their MAGA merchandise and really making quite a statement of the fact that they are here. And inaugurations generally are a domestic affair. You're very right in saying, Benga, that Trump in his kind of celebrity wannabe superstar way has tried to make this into a more international affair. He's been courting world leaders since the moment he was elected, and a lot of that courting taking place from Mar-a-Lago, a kind of second summer White House, if you will. But I think Sir Keir Starmer, his decision to not attend the inauguration was really about making sure that he's focused on domestic affairs at home, of which there are many.
And it's interesting you talk, Benga did list the people who have been, I guess we might say, specially invited for this. But you also mentioned earlier, Afua, about the idea that people are afraid of the rise of nationalistic tendencies, right-wing supporters because of the re-election of Donald Trump. I'd really like you to speak to that, because we already know that we've been seeing a reversal of some of the globalistic rewards in the past several years. A lot of countries, particularly in the EU, now moving towards more nationalistic and right-wing sentiment, and we're seeing a lot of it. Germany, for one, quickly comes to mind, particularly with the fight they seem to be having on their hands right now. So for Trump, or what is it that Trump most likely represents for many of these people, like a Viktor Orban from Hungary, like a Bolsonaro, like even anybody,
Meloni in Italy.
So many people, what does he represent for them, and how do you think his re-election could possibly have a spillover effect onto some of the elections we have coming up in the global north, as it may be?
Well, traditionally, the President of the United States was seen as a leader of the free world. And now I think Donald Trump wants to be seen as a leader of the populist movement, the leader of the right-wing movement, which you so rightly said, Tolu, is sweeping over the world. There has been so many changeover of governments. And actually, the UK is unusual in that we seem to have gone from right-wing to a left-wing government. Although I think the Labour Party at the moment, the Labour government, are much more centrist. But across the world, it has been very different. Lots more leaning to insular and nationalist right-wing policies. And he is seen as the godfather of that. He is seen as the spearhead of that movement. And, he's someone that phrase, make America great again. It's all about looking inward. It's all about those nationalistic tendencies. So actually, it's unusual and sort of not par for the course for him to be courting all these world leaders, because he's more inward looking. It's about making America great again, and not necessarily about maintaining those international relationships. But I think those leaders want to have those alignments with Trump to see what they can learn from what he is doing, how they can perhaps replicate it in their own countries. And the few countries that he does choose to deal with, have those very important trade deals with, they want to be one. They want to be on the list, and that list is going to be very, very short. And they want to be there when Trump leads America into this second golden era, this golden age, this make America great again. They want to be on that gravy train. And it's very, very important that they court him and get him at the right time. Like I say, we are seeing the rise of these right-wing nationalist movements, and he is absolutely the godfather of that.